Hello, this is Priscilla, and welcome to the Conversational Hour. I hope that you are excited about today because our topic is Who are you today? As we discuss the topic, I hope you will find the opportunity to avail yourself to speak as often as you can, ask many questions, use phrasal verbs to eliminate a lot of excessive brain energy. We're going to read a mini story, and then you will participate in authentic dialogue, hopefully to increase your vocabulary by answering basic questions using complete students' questions and answers that were created by you. All right, with that said, we're going to start. So I will bring in my document for today. And my document for today is on your screen now. And it is Who are you? So now that it is there, we can find out who is here. Hello, Santiago. How are you? Santiago, how are you?
Hello, Priscilla.
How are
I'm
you?
fine. I'm fine. Thank you.
Great,
What
great.
about you?
I'm doing wonderful. I am
Good.
doing wonderful. And Miguel, how are you?
Hi, Priscilla. I'm fine, thanks. Nice
Great.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. And hello, Alex. How are you? How are you, Alex? Unmute your microphone, Alex, and I'll listen to your voice. Well, Alex just dropped off, but perhaps he will be back. Well, time is what we need to work on right now, and let's take advantage of the time that we have together. Today we're going to read this story, and we each will read it, and then we will continue with the activities. So let's start with Miguel. Miguel, can I get you to read for me?
Uh-huh. Today, I'm excited. My name is Edwin. I'm almost 8 years old. I live with my grandmother
Mm-hmm.
and my dad in America. My grandmother tells me every
Okay,
day.
let me see if I can get that to stabilize. Okay, now I think it's there for the duration, hopefully. Continue.
My grandmother tells me every day I can be anyone I want to be and I can do anything I want to do.
Mm-hmm. Great. Did you understand what you just read?
Yes.
Okay, great. Can you summarize for me what you just read? Can you summarize that for me?
Yes, Edwin is a boy, and she is 8 years old.
Okay, and when you say Edwin is a boy, then you would want me to know that Edwin is a he. He is 8 years old. Okay,
Uh-huh.
go ahead. Continue.
Okay. Sorry,
I'm listening.
I
I'm listening. Well,
I forgot
you had said that you had said she, but Edwin is a he, so he is 8 years old.
Uh-huh.
You're still
Okay.
summarizing the story.
Yes. Could you put the link again,
No, no,
please?
no. I want you to tell it to me from memory. You're doing
I
good.
forgot. He
Well,
was
we know
speaking about
Edwin.
his grandmother,
Mm-hmm. Good.
and
He has a dog named what? What is his dog's name?
uh,
Shadow.
I can't remember. Sorry.
Okay, the dog's name is Shadow, and that's fine. That's okay. All right, thank you, Miguel. Now I would like to ask Ruben to read. Hi, Ruben. Hi, Ruben. Ruben, can you read this for me?
Yes, hello Priscilla. How are you?
Hello. I'm great. Read for me, Ruben.
Sure. Today I'm excited. My name is Edwin. I'm almost 8 years old. I live with my grandmother and my dad in America. My grandmother tells me every day. I can tells me every day I can be anyone I want to be, and I can do anything I want to do. I'm
Hmm.
going to tell you about Shadow. Shadow is my pet. Shadow is the same age as me. He is black and white with big brown eyes and a short stubby tail. Shadow is my best friend, and he usually licks my face in the morning before I get out of bed. He eats from his doggy bowl in the mornings as I eat from my plate at the breakfast table. Shadow is a wonderful pet. He's my yep, he's my seeing eye dog. He helps me sometimes get from one place to another. Sometimes he helps me to find my socks and shoes to get dressed in the morning and to get dressed in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, yes. Shadow has big dark piercing eyes. This is what my grandmother told me. My grandmother told me that Shadow is one of the smartest dogs she has ever met. Actually, she has never had a dog before. Grandmother has had several cats before. This weekend we are going to the mall. Shadow is a seeing eye dog and will be allowed in the shop sorry and will be allowed in all of the shops to help me with my moving around in the my moving around in the stores.
Okay, thank you, Ruben. Ruben, did you understand the story? 80% of the story?
Yes, I did.
Could you summarize that story for me?
Yes, this is a story. This is about Edwin. That he has a dog. He's his seeing dog because he's blind. That's why he has this dog to help him to do his daily activities.
Mm-hmm.
He has a grandmother who encouraged him to enhance him to do things even though he's blind.
Okay, good. Thank you. And hello, Elena V's. Could you read for us? But before you start to read, could you pronounce your name for me? I'm sure I'm not getting it correctly yet.
Yes, hello, nice to see. I'm just Elena. V says is just is for my surname, but I'm just Elena.
Okay, so great. Well, it's nice to meet you, Elena. Would you read this story for me, please?
Yes, of course. Today I'm excited. My name is Edwin. I'm almost 8 years old. I live with my grandmother and my dad in America. My grandmother tells me every day I can be anyone I want to be and I can do anything I want to do. I'm going to tell you about Shadow. Shadow is my pet. Shadow is the same age as me. He's black and white with big brown eyes and a short stubby tail. Shadow is my best friend and he usually licks my face in the morning before I get out of bed. He eats from his doggy bowl in the morning as I eat from my plate at the breakfast table. Shadow is a wonderful pet. She's my seeing eye dog. He helps me sometimes get from one place to another. Sometimes he helps me to find my socks and shoes to get dressed in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Shadow has big, dark, piercing eyes. This is what my grandmother told me. My grandmother told me that Shadow is one of the smartest dogs she had ever met. Actually, she has never had a dog before. Grandmother has had several cats before. This weekend we are going to go to the mall. Shadow is an seeing a dog and will be allowed in all of the shops to help me with my moving around in the stores.
Okay, great. Now, can you summarize what you just read for me, Elena?
Yes, the story is about a boy, and the boy is speaking. In fact, a boy called Edwin, who is blind, and this boy lives with her grandmother and her dad, and with his dog, with his seeing eye dog, who helps him to do a lot of things.
Okay, good. Ricardo,
Yeah.
could I get you to read for me?
Yes. Today I am excited. My name is Edwin. I am almost 18 years old.
I'm almost eight. Eight. Mm-hmm.
I live with my grandmother and my dad in America. My grandmother tell me every day I can be anyone I want to be, and I can do anything I want to do. I am going to tell you about Shadow. Shadow is my pet. Shadow is the same age as me. He's black and white with big brown eyes and a short, stubby tail.
Mhm.
Shadow is my best friend. He usually licks my face in the morning before I get out of bed. He eats from his doggy bowl in the morning as he eats from a plate at the breakfast table. Shadow is a wonderful pet. He's my seeing eye dog. He helps me sometimes get from one place to another. Sometimes he helps me to find my socks and shorts to get dressed in the morning.
Mhm. Very nicely done. Thank you. And the last person that we will hear from is Santiago. Santiago, would you please read for us?
Of course.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Ricardo, can you summarize? Can
Yeah.
you? No
Okay.
escaping, no escaping that. Okay. Okay.
Edwin is a boy that lives in America with grandmother and is dead. He's a blind boy that that can live with the help of his dog, that is his best friend too.
Okay.
His dog is black and white with brown hair and
Mhm.
help him to find shoes, socks, and to walk in the street.
Okay. Very nice. Now, Santiago, can you read the story for us?
Okay. Okay. Today I'm excited. My name is Edwin. I'm almost 8 years old. I live with my grandmother and my dad in America. My grandmother tells me every day, I can be anyone I want to be, and I can do anything I want to do. I'm going to tell you about Shadow. Shadow is my pet. Shadow is the same age as me. He is black and white with big brown eyes and a short stubby tail. Shadow is my best friend and he usually licks my face in the morning before I get out of bed. He eats from his doggy bowl in the morning as I eat from my plate at the breakfast table. Shadow is a wonderful pet. He is my seeing eye dog. He helps me sometimes get from one place to another. Sometimes he helps me to find my socks and shoes to get dressed in the morning. Shadow has big dark piercing eyes. This is what my grandmother told me. My grandmother told me that Shadow is one of the smartest dogs she has ever met. Actually, she has never had a dog before. Grandmother has had several cats before. This weekend we are going to go to the mall. Shadow is a seeing eye dog and will be allowed in all of the shops to help me with my moving around in the stores.
Okay. Great. Great. Now, can I get you to summarize what you just read?
Yeah, the story talks about a boy. His name is Edwin. He's blind. He lives with his grandparents in America. He is always moving everywhere with his seeing eye dog because he's blind. So he needs his dog for almost everything,
Hmm.
and his dog is his best friend too.
Good. Good. Now, the only person that I really recognize in the class today is Ruben. And I really appreciate you coming back, Ruben. And it's when you get that following and students understand what the format of a lesson is, your learning will start to snowball into dramatically improving. You'll look here, you'll notice that everyone has their name at the top and a number. I know that you all are paying for these classes, so I try to find the quickest way to keep you all engaged and involved, because my goal is to help you to speak very quickly and get as much out of the class as possible. So Ruben will be helping me out a lot today. I don't want it to appear that I'm showing favoritism, but I want you to know that all of you are new to me except Ruben. So Ruben is now going to go first. Well, I'll go first, then Ruben will go. And Ruben, don't disappoint me. I expect Ruben to do better than anyone else. Ruben is going to talk for 60 seconds or less. This time it's 60 seconds or less, so when you finish, you can just stop, as opposed to my saying continue to talk. But I want each of you to pay attention to the number of times you have the excessive I'll be counting those and looking at the clock for at least 60 seconds. But if you finish telling me the story within 30 seconds, that is even better. And if you see that you're making lots of marks, then you might just stop talking and let me know that that is the end of the story and all that you know. So here's the story. And I'm looking at the clock. On the count of 3, I will start. 1, 2, 3. Today, this story is about a boy named Edwin. Edwin is blind. Edwin has a seeing eye dog. His seeing eye dog helps him get dressed in the morning. And his grandmother tells Edwin that he is the smartest boy she's ever known. His grandmother has had cats, but she doesn't have any cats now. Today, Edwin and his dog are having breakfast. The dog is eating from the doggy bowl, and Edwin is eating at the table. That is my story. And I did that in 40 seconds. Now Ruben is going, and I didn't count the number of times that I said and, but I think I did it about 3 times. But my ands were really appropriate because I was using mine as conjunctions, not as a filler to help tell the story. But if you can eliminate those ands at all costs, that will be great. So I will say that I had 3. Now Ruben, I would like for you to summarize the story. Ruben is not going to look at the story, but he's going to tell me the story when I tell him to start, and I'll count the number of times that he says or has an excessive pause. On the count of 3, Ruben. 1, 2, 3.
Edwin is a blind guy. Edwin has a dog. Its name is Shadow. Shadow eats with him when breakfast. Edwin can do whatever he wants because his grandmother encouraged him. Shadow accompanies Edwin whenever he goes. When he goes to the store, Shadow is allowed to get into those stores because he's helping Edwin to do the shopping.
Okay, great.
That's it.
So we see Ruben had one little hiccup. He started to say something, then he changed his mind, and then he went back and he said the same thing. If you had changed your mind and not repeated yourself, Ruben, it would not have counted against you. But that was excellently done. Miguel, could we hear from you, please? 1, 2, 3.
Edwin is a blind boy who has a dog. The dog is a seeing-eye dog who helps him to do everything he needs. Her grandmother helps or encourages him to do whatever thing he wants to do.
Okay, thank you. So you have a total of 6. We'll see if we can improve on that. Elena, would you summarize for us? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
This story is about Edwin, 8 years 8-year-old boy who lives with her grandmother and her dad in America. He's a blind boy and he has a dog, a seeing eye dog, who helps him in a lot of his daily occupations, like having breakfast at the same time or go shopping.
Okay, thank you. That was 10, Elena. Ricardo, on the count of
Yes.
3. 1, 2, 3.
Edwin is a boy that have a dog, and this dog help him with his problem with eyes because he is blind, and he live in America with grandparent and dad. And this dog help him to live with as a normal boy.
Okay, that was 8. Santiago,
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Edwin is a blind boy who lives in America with his grandparents. He has a seeing-eye dog who helps him to do everything in his daily life.
Okay, is that it? Okay.
Well, it's more or less the
All right.
story, more or less.
Well, if that's all you can remember, then we're going to try again. This time, I want you to talk for 30 seconds. Please do not stop talking until I tell you that your 30 seconds is up. You must speak for 30 seconds. I will go first, and this is what I will do. When you have a time limit, this is training yourself to be aware of time when you're talking. Native English speakers, we get straight to the point. We just don't beat around the bush. We cut through the chase. We tell you what we want you to know. And that's what I want you to be able to do too. So I'm going to talk for 30 seconds, and I want you to be able to tell me at least 2 things every 15 seconds. But I'm sure I will tell you more than 2 things in 15 seconds, but you should be able to do that. When you tell me one thing, just take a breath. But don't say and don't say earn. All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. This story is about a boy named Edwin. Edwin has a dog named Shadow. Shadow is a seeing eye dog. The seeing eye dog goes with Edwin everywhere. Edwin's grandmother told him he is the smartest dog she's ever seen. She also told Edwin he could be anything that he wants to be. Edwin and his dog are sitting at the breakfast table eating breakfast. Shadow has a doggy ball, and Edwin eats from the table. All right, there we go. So you want to get complete thoughts in your head together. If you need to pause, just stop talking. You only have 30 seconds. You will need to talk for the entire 30 seconds, and I will tell you when to stop. All right, Ruben, show us what you got. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Shadow and Edwin live in America. Shadow is a dog. He is a seeing dog. Edwin is his owner. Shadow helps Edwin with his activities, and his grandmother always encourages him to do what he wants. Shadow helps Edwin go shopping, and he is allowed enter to the stores because of he's a seeing dog.
Good. Okay. So it was only because that long pause there, Ruben.
Mhm.
Don't watch the clock. I can watch the clock because you know what you want to say. But that's very nicely done. Miguel, on the count of 3, think about specific things that you want to tell us. Then start talking at the count of 3. Continue talking until I ask you to stop. 1, 2, 3.
Edwin is a blind boy who lives in America with his grandmother. He has a dog named Shadow. Shadow is a a seeing-eye dog, and Edwin's grandmother tells him that Shadow is very smart and helps him. And Shadow helps him doing whatever he needs.
Okay, I did not ask you to stop yet, but that, so I have to take 2 points for the excessive pauses because you're supposed to talk until I ask you to stop. So that was 2, and then you got 2 for pausing too long. Okay, Alina, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, begin.
Edwin is a boy. He's 80 years old, and he lives with her grandmother and his father. Her grandmother always encouraged him to do whatever he wants, although he's blind. Edwin has a dog that helps him to do everything he needs.
Okay, thank you. So that's 5, 6, 7. That's an improvement. Okay, Ricardo,
Yes.
on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Edwin is a boy. He is 18 years old. He lives with the grandmother and his dad is in America. The grandmother tells him that he's the smartest guy in the world and he can do everything he wants. His dog is black and white with brown eyes and find the socks and the shoes. He's I don't know what to say.
Well, just keep talking.
He's,
Okay, that's it. That's good. Okay, you had 5. That is an improvement. And Santiago, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Edwin is a blind boy who lives in the United States with his grandparents. He has a seeing-eye dog who helps him to do everything every day. He likes to go shopping to the malls, and he's always to these places.
Okay, so that was 5. That looks like it's not as good as the first one, but the first one you really didn't say. All right, so we now have a pretty good understanding of what the story should be, even though we couldn't get it out as nicely as I would like for you to yet. Hopefully we will get to it again. So now we're going to read 4, 6, 8, 10. I would like for number 1. Oh, here are your numbers. Miguel, you're number 1. Ruben, you're 2. Elena, you are 3. Ricardo, you are 4. And Santiago, you are 5. So number 1 will read 1 and 2. I want you to read the sentences and complete the sentences, please. 3 and 4 will be number 2. 5 and 6 will be number 3. 7 and 8 will be number 4. And 9 and 10 will be number 5. All right, everybody remember what your number is, okay? All right, you may start when you're ready. There's no time, there's no pressure, but try to eliminate the excessive use of ums, ands, ahs, and erms. Number 1.
Edwin is 8 years old.
No, well, read this. Edwin is 7 years old, and I'm going to change this to 8 to make them all true. Edwin is 8 years old, and he
lives with his grandmother. And
great. Okay, and number 2.
Edwin lives with his grandmother's. I don't know.
No, read what you see. Read exactly what you see.
Edwin lives with his grandmother and his dad. They are planning.
Just make something up. Just make something up. They are planning to go shopping.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but that's what I said. Come on, you can do it. Edwin lives with his grandmother and his dad. They are planning. Can someone give him a suggestion? Anyone? Anybody?
To go shopping?
Okay, can you say they're planning to go shopping? Oh,
Um,
have we lost number one? Miguel, where are you? Miguel,
Yes.
can you say what are they planning to do?
I can't remember.
Well, it doesn't matter. It could be anything. Just make something up.
Okay. They are planning to move to another country.
Great. Number two, that would be Ruben. Ruben, unmute your microphone.
Yes, yes. Sorry. Number two, Edwin lives with his grandmother and his dad.
No, no,
They
no.
are
No, number
Oh, I'm
you're
sorry, sorry.
3 and 4.
Yes. Edwin's dog is named Shadow. When I think of the word shadow, I think of shade. Okay. Yes, okay.
Okay, number 4. I mean,
Shadow has piercing eyes. Each time I look into his eye, I think on the sea.
number 3.
Shadow eats from his doggy bowl while Edwin is sitting at a table.
Good.
Shadow is known as a seeing eye dog. He can be with Edwin anywhere.
Okay. Next.
Yes. Edwin's grandmother used to have cats. Now he loves dogs. Now she loves dog.
Okay. Number 8.
What is it, Braille?
Oh, Braille is the way that Edwin reads when he reads with his fingers because he can't see.
Okay,
He reads
okay.
Braille.
Edwin can read Braille. This is possible thanks to new technology.
Okay. And number 5. Person 5.
Okay. Edwin goes almost everywhere with Shadow because he's blind and he needs his help dog. Shadow is a good seeing-eye dog.
Great. All that we're doing is helping you to remember things about the story. And we're getting good sentence structures as well. Okay, number 1, person 1, read number 1.
Edwin's favorite food is cookies.
Number 2.
Edwin's age is 8.
3.
Edwin's pet is named Shadow.
4.
Edwin is eating breakfast at the table.
Number 5.
How does Edwin read? Well, I don't remember.
With Braille. He reads the Braille.
Yeah. He reads the braille.
And a Braille is those raised dots on the paper.
Yeah.
And let's see. I want number 1 to give me one feature of Shadow. Give me one
Big,
feature for Shadow.
big brown eyes.
Number 2.
Piercing eyes. He has piercing eyes.
Okay, 3.
He's helpful.
It's black and white.
And 5.
He's 8 years old.
Okay, great. So now what we're going to do, we're going to look at these sentences. Number 1, can you do number 1?
Edwin's grandmother
You're going to use usually. You're going to use the word usually, or you're going to use the word always,
always tell him
or you're going to
he
use the word
can
sometimes.
whatever he wants to be.
So what is the answer?
Always.
Okay. Edwin's grandmother always tells him that he can do. Okay, read the sentence for me. Read it.
Edwin's grandmother always tell him he can be whatever he wants to be.
Great. Number 2, can you read for me? Who is number 2?
Yes, me.
Okay, Ruben.
Shadow is my best friend, and he usually lick my face in the mornings before I get out of bed.
Great. And person number 3?
Shadow helps Edwin sometimes, no, usually to get from one place to another.
Okay, good. And I think those were the best answers that you all have given. Great. Now, I want, each of you have already summarized the story. I'll come back to that one. I'm going to ask you all to tell the story again, and I need you to use all of the words that are here in these boxes. Now, this is going to be a challenge. This is something new, but if you can't do it, just do the best that you can. In order to speak well, at some point you are going to pick up the speed. Of course, what you're going to do now is not the way you will ever talk. What we need to trick our mind in believing that we need to pick up the pace when we're speaking. So I'm going to read all of these words very quickly. I'm going to read them. I'm Priscilla, and I'm going to read them as quickly as I can, and I'm going to enunciate each one. Excited, selection, endure, discerning, anything special, intelligent, infiltration, pet, braille, portray, exceptional, stubby, several, usually, locate. All right? I want you to do the same. 2, 3, 4, and 5 can go up here. All right, so say the words quickly, as quickly as you can. We'll start with 5. Say all of the words. Okay, number 5, unmute your microphone if it's muted.
Yeah. Okay. Number 5.
Just say the words.
Okay. Excited, selection, endure, discerning, anything, special, intelligent, infiltration, pet, braille, portray, exceptional, stubby, several, usually, locate.
Great, and I understood every word that you said. Number 1.
Excited, selection, endure, discerning, anything, special, intelligent, infiltration, pet, braille, portray, exceptional, stubby, several, usually, locate.
Okay, this word is stubby. Stubby. And number 2?
Yes, excited, selection, endure, discerning, anything, special, intelligent, infiltration, pet, braille, portray, exceptional, stubby, several, usually, locate.
Number 3.
Excited, selection, endure, discerning, anything, special, intelligent, infiltration, pet, braille, portray, exceptional, stubby, several, usually, locate.
Great. Number 4?
Excited, selection, endure, discerning, anything, special, intelligent, infiltration, pet, braille, portray, exceptional, stubby, several, usually, locate.
Excellent. Now what I need to ask, is there a word in any of these boxes that someone does not know the meaning of? Do you know the meaning of all of these words?
I don't know what mean stubby.
The word stubby means to short. The dog has a short, stubby tail. Usually a bulldog has a short tail, and the tail of the dog is about 1/2 inch long or an inch long. Okay?
And portray.
Portray means to present like a picture, like a portrait. Portray. Something that you want me to believe. Okay?
Okay.
Does anyone else have a question? Because you will have to use all of these words.
Endure.
Endure means to be able to put up with. If I have a headache, for example, but I have a class, I have to endure the headache and do the class. I have to continue what I must do even though I'm in pain. So I'm enduring. I'm continuing on with whatever it is that I need to do, what is required.
Like tolerate?
Yes, endure means to tolerate. Exactly. Very good.
Okay.
All right, so Ruben, I'm going to give you 2 words to use. Tolerate. Endure means to tolerate. So when you get to number 2, I want you to use both words, not side by side, but I do want you to use both words. Now, you will have 2 minutes. If you don't need 2 minutes, don't take 2 minutes to tell the story. I will do it first. Today, I'm going to tell you about my pet. My pet's name is Shadow. He has a stubby tail, and I am blind, and I can read Braille. I usually look at books that has something exciting and anything that is easy for me to locate with my pet, I will do. Several nights a week, I spend special time with my dog Shadow. He's very intelligent, you know. He has actually infiltrated my bedroom at night and found my socks on the floor, and he portrays himself as a human with exceptional talents. I like his selection of socks that he gets from me. He has a lot of patience and he endures all. Okay, I forgot. I couldn't look at the clock. Thank you. Okay, number 5. Now I will be watching the clock for you for your 2 minutes to tell your story. On the count of 3, you may begin. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, I'm excited because Edwin is a blind boy who has a pet who is very intelligent and special. His grandmother always tells him that he can do anything he wants to do, and he's a very exceptional boy. His dog has a stubby tail, and he usually helps him to go shopping. Edwin reads Braille, and he has a portrait. He has a portrait with his dog.
1 minute. Continue.
Okay. He has to endure. He's blind every day, so he's very discerning with him, and he's located in a small village in the United States. He goes several times to the mall with his dog, and his dog sometimes is infiltrated in his bed at night. And his dog is the best selection in his life.
Okay, 1 minute and 55 seconds. Number 1, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
I'm going to tell you about my special, intelligent, and discerning pet that I have. It's called Shadow. and he has a stubby tail. He usually helps me going to several locations, and I am very excited with him. So I can do anything. I think. I'm a blind person and I endure with this situation every day. I can read Braille type and I can do the selection in
1 minute.
task
Continue.
machine, and my dog is very exceptional, and several times he portrays as a thief, like an infiltration in my room.
Okay, number 2. Don't forget, I want you to use both these words on the count of
Yes.
3. 1, 2, 3.
Edwin has a pet, a very special pet. He has a stubby tail, and he is very excited with him. When he went to buy him, he made a good selection, because he chose an intelligent dog. He went to several places before he got him, but he could locate a good place when he found him. Edwin knows to read Braille. He's exceptional doing that. He can read anything, from a book to a dictionary. He usually plays with Shadow to be spies. They play as an infiltration, and Shadow actually portray as a human.
1
Remember
minute.
that Edwin is blind, so he has to tolerate all the problems that this can cause him. You have to endure with this situation. And he didn't know what this happened. He's discerning about it.
Okay, very good. That was 1 minute and 35 seconds, I believe. Number 3. You all are doing so good. Number 3. 1, 2,
Yeah.
3.
Edwin is an intelligent boy who has a pet called Shadow. Shadow has a stubby tail, and usually, oh, usually helps Edwin to locate his shoes or socks. Shadow is an exceptional dog, an special dog. And Edwin is very excited with him because he can do almost everything. Several times, Edwin has to endure difficult situations, and Shadow helps him to do his best selection. And to
15 seconds.
to discern the best way to act. Together they can do anything they want.
Okay, thank you. That's your time. That's good, though. That's your time. All right, number 4.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
All people are excited about Edwin. He's a blind boy that can read thanks to Braille, and he can live with his pet that usually help him with work on the street, and he is a very intelligent pet. He can he, he is very loved by grandmother, and his grandmother every time tell at Edwin that he can do anything
1 minute.
special.
Continue.
Yes. It, it's hard.
Keep going.
Yes. Edwin meet several difficulties in his life, but is very discerning about fight this, and thanks to the special ability that he have developed, he can live a good life, and uh, uh,
5 seconds.
okay. Sorry, I don't remember well the
Okay.
story.
Okay. Time. Now remember, you didn't have to be. You could make up any story. The words could come from anywhere. It didn't have to come from the story. I want to briefly introduce you to adverbs of frequency. The whole purpose for my lesson for you today was to be able to think quickly, enunciate quickly, and recognize a few vocabulary words, and to help you be aware that if you're using excessive nouns, excessive numbers of ums, errands, and ahs, we want to eradicate that, which means to remove them from our speaking. When we use words such as daily, weekly, or yearly, we're talking about things that are definite. It is a definite time. When we say words such as often, sometimes, and rarely, these are items that are indefinite. It is not a definite time. We don't have time to read these stories, these sentences today, but perhaps each one of you can give me a sentence using a, daily, weekly, yearly, or often, sometimes, rarely. All right, I think we should be able to do that. Control C. So I'm going to put it here, but I need to find your names. Well, that's not going to help me any, because I've already erased your names, I think. Let me see, did I erase your names already? Okay, here we go. We can go here, Control V. All right, so what I want you to do is give me a sentence. Miguel, give me a sentence using,
I have to go to work daily.
okay, and is that a definite or an indefinite? Which one is it?
Definite.
M-I-G-U-E-L. Again, Miguel.
I have to go to work every day. Sorry, daily.
Ruben, could I get one from you? Tell me if it's definite or indefinite.
Which one?
I don't know. It's up to you.
Definite.
Okay. Give me.
I always have to study at night.
Okay. Alina, can you give me one? Tell me which one it will be.
Indefinite. I often take Berlin classes.
Ricardo.
Yes, indefinite. Sometimes I go to play soccer.
Sometimes I go. And Santiago?
Indefinite. I rarely go to the beach.
So now you have a small taste of indefinite and definite articles. You all demonstrated very nicely your ability to summarize the story. I hope that you have internalize some of the vocabulary from today's topic. I want you to use some of this vocabulary. Practice whenever you get a chance about 2 minutes a day. Reading words very quickly. They do not need to make sense, but you want to build up that repetition of being able to speak quickly when you need to, especially when you're under the gun with the clock. At this time, I'm going to ask for feedback at the top of the hour. I ask for the final word. What did you think of today's class? Ruben, final word, please.
Yes, even though I've already taken the class, was interesting, and as always, you encourage me to do
Okay.
new challenging activities.
Okay, and that is the
Thank you.
goal, is to continue to encourage. Santiago, could I get you to give us the final word for today? Your thoughts
Yeah.
on the class?
Well, I enjoy a lot of your class. It was really fun.
Okay.
It was really interesting, and I only have to say thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Santiago. I appreciate your patience and your
You
presence
are
today.
welcome.
Ricardo, could you give us your final word, please?
Feedback, I mean.
Yes, that would be feedback. The final word for us is feedback.
It's a very good class, but it's also a bit difficult for me because it's the first time.
Yes.
So it's all new, and but it's very good and fun.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Ricardo. And that is the truth about something being the first time when you try something. It's a little awkward and uncomfortable, but I believe that being in an uncomfortable situation will help you to progress even faster and better. So thank you very much for participating today. And now we will hear from Alina. Could we have final words for you today?
Yeah, it has been a very interesting class, although perhaps a bit stressful, because yes, it's very difficult for me to not to pauses when I speak. So I suppose it's good. This class is good for me.
Okay. Thank you, Alina. Stress is good. Without stress, we would not grow. But I hope this is good stress for you. Thank you for participating. Miguel, final words, please.
I found this new method very useful. And I think the competition and your reports helps us to improve our English. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. And that is true. The research says that the more often the language learner repeats the information, the more internally it remains with them. So I don't just give it to you on the surface. I give it to you again and again and again in different ways. When you recognize words, you will start to use them. Each of us created a story today based upon some bits and pieces of information that we read. When you see on the news something that happened immediately, the only way that the reporter is able to report on that subject and that content is because he is accustomed to using various words, many words for various different situations. Sometimes he's pulling from his head, sometimes he's pulling from what someone in the immediate area has said, but altogether he has to come together with something that makes sense as his reported out story. So today you all reported out a story using the vocabulary that I gave to you. You were able to enunciate those words very clearly and quickly, and I'm very proud of that. So with that said, I want to say to Alina, it was nice meeting you. Miguel, it's nice having you today. Ricardo, thank you for participating. And Ruben, it is always a pleasure to have you in class. Santiago, I hope you too will continue to visit my class and continue to learn. With that said, that is my final word, and I'm going to say au revoir today. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye bye,
Bye.
Priscilla. Take
Goodbye,
care.
and thank you.